Okay, this is our first instalment of Skellig, carrying on from where we got to in school. So I think we agreed we're up to chapter 23. Skellig has just revealed his name, that he is Skellig. Okay, chapter 23. Mrs. Dando called that morning just after breakfast. She came on her bike on her way to school. She said my mates were looking forward to getting me back again. They say you're the best tackler in the school, she said. Dad showed her all the work we'd done on the house. We showed her the wilderness. She said everything would be bright and new for when the baby came home. She took her bag off her back. She took out a little cuddly black bear for Dad to give to the baby. And there's this for you, she laughed. Sorry. It was a folder of work from Rasputin and Monkey. Worksheets with gaps to fill in and questions to answer. There was a note from Miss Clark's. No real homework. Write a story. Get well soon. There were sheets of maths problems and a book called Julius and the Wilderness with a red sticker on the back. Dad laughed as we watched her cycle away. No rest for the wicked, eh, son, he said. I'll do the decorating, you get on with your work. I got a biro and took the work along the street to Mina's front garden. She was sitting with her mum on the blanket underneath the tree. Her mum was reading. Mina was scribbling fast in a black book. She grinned and beckoned me over the wall when she saw me standing there. Mina looked at the worksheets. It is thought that man is from apes. This is the theory of This theory was developed by Charles de... There was sentence after sentence like that. Fill in the blanks. Mina read the sentences out loud. She said blank, blank, blank in a sing-song voice when she came to the dashes. She stopped after the first 3 sentences and just looked at me. Is this really the kind of thing you do all day, she said. Mina, said her mum. Mina giggled. She flicked through the book. It was about a boy who tells magical tales that turn out to be true. Yeah, looks good, she said. But what's the red sticker for? It's for confident readers, I said. It's to do with reading age. What if other readers want to read it? Mina, said her mum. And where would William Blake fit in, said Mina. Tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forests of the night. Is that for the best readers or the worst readers? Does that need a good reading age? I stared back at her. I didn't know what to say. I wanted to get back over the wall and go home again. And if it was for the worst readers, would the best readers not bother with it because it would be too stupid for them, she said. Mina, said her mum. She was smiling gently at me. Take no notice, she said. She's a madam sometimes. Well, said Mina. She went back to scribbling in the black book again. She looked up at me. Go on then, she said. Do your homework like a good schoolboy. Her mum smiled again. I'll get on inside, she said. You tell her to shut up if she starts getting at you again. Okay? Okay, I said. After she'd gone, we said nothing for ages. I pretended to read Julius and the Wilderness, but it was like the words were dead and meaningless. What you writing? I said at last. My diary. About me and you and Skellig, she said. She didn't look up. What if someone reads it? I said. Why would they read it? They know it's mine and it's private. She scribbled again. I thought about our diaries at school. We filled them in every week. Every so often, Miss Clark checked that they were neat and the punctuation was right and the spellings were right. She gave us marks for them, just like we got marks for attendance and punctuality and attitude and everything else we did. I said nothing to Mina about this. I went on pretending to read the book. I felt tears in my eyes. That made me think about the baby, and doing that just made the tears worse. I'm sorry, said Mina. I really am. One of the things we hate about schools is the sarcasm that's in them. And I'm being sarcastic. She squeezed my hand. It's so exciting, she whispered. You, me, Skellig. We'll have to go for him. He'll be waiting for us. What shall we take for him? Chapter 24. What is this place? I asked her as she opened the gate and we stepped into the long back garden. We ducked down and hurried to the danger door. It was my grandfather's, she said. He died last year. He left it to me in his will. It'll be mine when I'm 18. She turned the key in the lock. We're having it repaired soon, then we'll rent it out. We stepped inside, carrying our parcels. Whisper slipped in at our heels. "Don't worry though," she whispered. "There's weeks before the builders come." I switched my torch on. We went into the room where we'd left him. He wasn't there. The room was silent and empty, as if he'd never been there at all. Then we saw Mina's cardigan behind the door and dead blue bottles on the floorboards, and heard Whisper mewing from the stairs. We went into the hallway, saw the shape of Skellig lying halfway up the first flight. "Knackered," he squeaked as we crouched beside him. "Sick to death. Aspirin." I fiddled in his pocket, took 2 of the tablets out, popped them in his mouth. "You moved," I said. "All on your own, you moved." He winced with pain. "You want to go higher?" said Mina. "Yes, somewhere higher," he whispered. We left our parcels there, lifted him together and carried him to the first landing. He groaned and twisted in agony. "Put me down," he squeaked. We took him into a bedroom with high white ceilings and pale wallpapered walls. We rested him against the wall. Thin beams of light pierced the cracks in the boards on the windows and shone onto his pale, dry face. I hurried back down for the parcels. We unrolled the blankets we'd brought. We laid them out with a pillow on the floor. We put down a little plastic dish for his aspirins and cod liver oil. I put an open bottle of beer beside it. There was a cheese sandwich and half a bar of chocolate. "All for you," Mina whispered. "Let us help you," I said. He shook his head. He turned over onto all fours, started to crawl the short distance towards the blanket. We saw his tears dropping through the beams of light, splashing onto the floor. He knelt by the blanket, panting. Mina went to him, knelt, facing him. "I'll make you more comfortable," she whispered. She unfastened the buttons on his jacket. She began to pull his jacket down over his shoulders. "No," he squeaked. "Trust me," she whispered. He didn't move. She slid the sleeves down over his arms, took the jacket right off him. We saw what both of us had dreamed we might see. Beneath his jacket were wings that grew out through rips in his shirt. When they were released, the wings began to unfurl from his shoulder blades. They were twisted and uneven. They were covered in cracked and crooked feathers. They clicked and trembled as they opened. They were wider than his shoulders, higher than his head. Skellig hung his head towards the floor. His tears continued to fall. He whimpered with pain. Mina reached out to him, stroked his brow. She reached further and touched the feathers with her fingertips. "You're beautiful," she whispered. "Let me sleep," squeaked Skellig. "Let me go home." He lay face down and his wings continued to quiver into shape above him. We drew the blankets up beneath them, felt his feathers against the skin on the backs of our hands. Soon Skellig's breathing settled and he slept. Whisper rested against him, purring. We stared at each other. My hand trembled as I reached out towards Skellig's wings. I touched them with my fingertips. I rested my palms on them. I felt the feathers, and beneath them the bones and sinews and muscles that supported them. I felt the crackle of Skellig's breathing. I tiptoed to the shutters and stared out through the narrow chinks. "What are you doing?" she whispered. "Making sure the world's still really there," I said. And I'm going to stop there. I'll carry on with some more tomorrow. Hope you're enjoying it. Bye, guys.